So this is a got just shy of midnight video blog, grainy and dark, but I may post this just for accountability. I said I would, and it's one less thing I'll have to do tomorrow. So last night I was presented with what I call the project from my wife, trying to do something much larger than a traditional gift, something with meaning, and reminding me that we do make an impact in people's lives. I think that I do a really good job of cultivating that in people, team building kind of things in organizations. That's what I really love to do. But it's really easy to forget yourself, that people somehow stop caring. I don't live in that mentality, but I think I'm human, and we all have days like that. So perhaps there had been a few of those days in a row or something. I don't know. You start to doubt, especially as a creative person who's kind of come out of a repressed period, whether you're an artist or writing. Clearly I enjoy writing and creating and really speaking, but we haven't gotten much into video blogs. I prefer to speak to people in person, but this is a good vehicle for that. So she, I don't know, a month ago asked people to, I don't know actually, she didn't ask for items, but I know that it was a group of people that she was sure meant the world to me, or knew they had a special place in my heart, or had inspired me, or whatever. Because it was only through Facebook, there were a lot of people forgotten, or didn't have the time to contribute in a direct way. So, but some did in a very direct way, and it was overwhelming. So instead of writing a 2,000-word blog, I just thought I would, at the end of this day, nearly midnight, looking at the clock, say thank you, and talk a little bit about the miracles of life. I wrote about this, but I'll say it quickly. 2 weeks ago, she wanted to blindfold me and take me somewhere. It was a typical day for us, very busy, running around to client houses and trying to navigate with a 15-week-old baby. It's stressful, We signed up for this and we love this, but it's not easy. Easy is not the road we chose. And I was very fussy about her saying, I'm going to blindfold you and we're going now. And I said, no, we're not. Because I had ideas, and I thought maybe it was somebody like a bicycle. I was thinking a used commuter bike that I'd been really trying to manifest to help us for local sittings. Somebody had already gifted an old mountain bike that I've been using some. I wanted to try to extend out our middays, and I've been looking for a bike, so I thought maybe that was it. And I kind of had an inkling of who she was talking about, but I wasn't sure. And I wanted to at least be semi-rested. You're never rested. New dads, if you're watching this, you know. The moms really know, but the dads know too, right? So I didn't like the surprise nature of that. Part of me thinks I didn't deserve whatever it was. I was just uncomfortable with the whole thing. But with the night of sleep, anyway, we went and got this car we call 5-0. And the neatest story about this is a friend I've only had coffee with one time in 10 years since we used to train together in the early 2000s. And I think as far as men walking the planet today, is near the top of those that inspire me and show me a good way to live life, and to be a father and a kind of the warrior spirit, but also a kind, gentle soul. And that's the combination I strive for, that balance. So I got to see him briefly, and he wouldn't want to be named. As he told me, Jared, this is much bigger than the the car. How it happened was, I think something was bestowed upon him. He has a nice, a comfortable life, but I think something was bestowed upon him, and he prayed and asked how to return that back into the universe, and I think it was through an act of graciousness. He felt called to get a car and put new tires on it, replaced the battery, had it checked out, scrubbed the interior, and shined it up for somebody who needed a car. So Sunova then creates a Facebook group with these people that were dear to me to I don't know what, but I guess to get something, some words or a memory or something, and that's how it would turn out. So anyway, I think it was just a day or two after he had got the car that the message came in, and he said, "What's your transportation like?" I don't know how she answered it, but likely something to the effect that we don't have a car. I sold mine 6 months into the Europe trip to kind of keep hanging in there with this love story and this dream. The Solgavi had already started there, the Solgavi project. And we sold her a little Micra for a dog crate to get one of the dogs here from Norway. So we're in a car loaned by my parents graciously, but it's one that has to be returned. So her answer would have been no cars. We have one, and we desperately need a second one. Through some money that was advanced to us that I had coming in, we used everything at our disposal in order to get moved here and to move to Fayetteville and to get an apartment and try to get a business going. During the tough months of working around her bed rest, late-term pregnancy, and Neo's birth, we likely were not going to make it. So we decided to sell the car and go one more month on Solgavi Animal Solutions. We spent so many months developing the brand and the market research, and we believed in it so much. We were willing to sell anything and everything, I think within reason, that wouldn't affect our children's safety. So we sold the car, and we're now doing much better with the business. We're in a state of growth, and I'm really blessed. We've got a long way to go, but we needed that car because of 61 visits. I just got home at, I think, 10 o'clock tonight from the visit, so this is coming in late. And wow, how do you thank somebody for that? I don't know. I fought back a lot of tears through this project of hers. That was 2 weeks ago. So we went to dinner last night because of one of our employees. It's feels like a second daughter to us. I think anybody that gets in your organization, when you try to cultivate like we do, you become family. It's the only kind of businesses I've worked for. You become part of, because the culture is so important. So she gave us a very generous night at a sushi place, and for our first date since Neo was born, and took Gabby to Chuck E. Cheese. Just special person. And came home, and she then showed me the videos. She said, "I got to show you something." I kind of assumed after the car and the dinner out, and she gave me a hint about what somebody was going to give me Saturday for us, and I thought surely that was it. So the first video is from a friend in Norway, and I think I just kind of started getting emotional then, just because I don't know, it's just powerful to hear people take their time to share their perception of you, or how you've impacted them, or their wishes for you. Because again, I can be one who teaches that, I think, really well, but it's easy to forget. So the timing was so special. Another video from her mom came in, and that was very, very endearing. It was very from the heart, Ellen. I appreciate it deeply, and send deep thanks. I felt that. Another friend of ours in Georgia area, I think. She sent a video, and it's so great to see you. if you're watching this. Those it just really was moving, and then the messages, and there was a lot. One person in particular that I think I've felt a deep kindred spiritual friendship for several years on Facebook. Just wrote some really profound words that moved me intensely. She took a song that I used to post a ton, Damien Rice, I Remember. If you've been a friend of mine on Facebook for the last 6 years, you've probably seen it posted 100 times. I think I took credit for moving it from like 200,000 views to 1,000,000 views in a 2-year period by sharing it so much. But it was a point in my life and his songwriting and what I was going through I just really resonated with. So she took that song and changed the lyrics to the story of kind of how we met, and it was just beautiful, beautiful prose. For somebody to take the time out of your busy life to do that just moved me deeply. A story from a former employee, in her words. You know, I don't know, touched me big time. It's funny because something she referenced in the message, I had actually been talking to Sunniva about like 3 days prior. She was young, I was younger. She was really young, and when she left the business that I was operator of at that time, it was 2003 or 4. I know it wouldn't say it was on the best of terms. She left in a flurry, but always been kind of like a sister to me because my family took her in that way. So what she said and it just touched me deeply. You know, for somebody to go back 10 years and process things and the way she shared it, I just want to say thank you. It meant a lot to me, and I know you really well, and I appreciate what you said. And it's my hope, I think, that these things I do. She mentioned that she didn't really realize it at the time, but I think some of the things that I try to do with our team, I think sometimes it does take years later to feel the impact of what that is. And it made me feel special about the time that we did in the organizations that I've had. You know, if it affects one person in that way, it's worth it. And that's why I'll keep doing what I do, because I believe in the one person, because I've been that one person, right? Sunav and I believe that our life is if there's a teacher to be had, it's our life. So the struggles that we've overcome, me in a big way, 40, I'm at 13 minutes here. I want to just touch on the gravity of those, the presentation, the project, as she called it. Again, there were several messages that came in, and they touched me deeply. I can't mention everybody, and for the sake of time, but you know, I just want to look in the camera and to each of you say thank you for taking the time to do that. It meant so much. Sunniva cares so much for me, and it's evident in trying to do something larger than any kind of a gift. We don't have much money right now. Everything we have goes back into Sogave, and that's not much. So, but she did something that you can't put a price tag on, and just deep thanks for that. Turning 40, I think it's special for everybody. As Ellen mentioned, I think it's a turning point for a variety of reasons. For me in particular, to think back of where I was at 38, it's a miracle that I'm likely alive and healthy and happy is like icing on the cake. We tried to do this in the back and the phone cut out twice, so I sent her to bed and I wanted to just finish it. So this is grainy and it's late, so bear with me. But I don't sleep good unless I check off the things on my list. And it's a nice quiet time to do this. So it's extra special to me. I'm coming up on 2 years of a big mark for me. On top of being a father to Neo, and on top of finding a person who wanted to live a life where we see ourselves as stones that need polishing until we die and move on to the next life. It's one of our dogs. You know, my hope is that Neo and Gabriella continue to teach me, and hopefully I can impart some wisdom to them. But I think trust in that symbiotic relationship is so important, and I don't know. I'm excited about the next decade, and there really was a rebirth that happened for me. One day I will share my story, maybe sooner than I thought. It's important, I think, because we had somebody over tonight, and we were visiting about people's wounds in their life, and sooner than I think people thought that we dwelled a lot in the negative when we met. We were in a spiritual New Age group, but I think I, at least speaking for myself, felt it's extremely important to not bandage wounds, but to properly address them, and that takes work. The road less traveled is the narrow road. It's called that for a reason. It's not the easy way. In my opinion, the easy way is a perception of instant salvation or universal lovingness and forgiveness of all without owning our mistakes or addressing real hurts. There's a lot of wounded children in the world. Many psychologists, I think, most would agree that prisons in the U.S. and I guess likely the world are filled with a lot of wounded children. That's not to excuse the crimes they've committed. It's not to excuse poor behavior, and I'm not one to actually use excuses for my own mistakes, like I had a tough go or I didn't have a father in my life or whatever. But I think it's important to recognize your life and to recognize your path and to go through it and heal step by step. For me, that's what gets me to these new levels of peace. I have a long way to go, but if you knew me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you know, I was ready to give in. I'd actually felt that I had achieved so much because I had had some personal success in work. When I had my eye on the ball, I swung hard, and I usually hit the ball well, metaphorically. And I also had a lot of destruction. Based on a conversation again we had tonight talking to somebody, these childhood wounds or adult wounds or traumas, they manifest themselves in different ways. For some people it's afflictions outwardly, and others it's internal. But here I am at 40, you know, really a new person, a person that many don't know. I'm still the same Jared that they knew, and I laugh a lot, and I'm silly, and I'm intensely serious, and I'm ridiculously funny, and I'm very complex. But I think outside of those character traits, from a spiritual perspective, I am slowly becoming, I have less residue, to speak in terms of like spiritual alchemy, the calcination process. It's continuing to happen. I think the birth of my son and having Gabriella, it constantly reminds you of your thoughts and your deeds and your actions and how it impacts them. The energy that I'm responsible for now doesn't just affect me, it affects my children. And just to close out this project of was really huge, because you know, for the 100 people that may be annoyed by my Facebook post, the one or two that are really touched, man, it keeps you going, because I've heard stories of you know, you see how it can, there's sliding doors in life, and people have touched me. So every single person watching this, every single person that I know has the same sliding door effect on everybody we come in contact with. And you can allow that person a slightly different reality as they walk out of your life, or walk out of your retail store, or walk out of your presence. So I try to remind our teams, and have done so for a long time. You know, somebody may be having a hard day, somebody maybe have just gotten in a fight with their spouse, so, you know, give them the best experience that you can, you know, give them the brightest side of you. And I'm proud of who I am today, and I do know that I'm loved. I'm a bit firmer on my boundaries, and I'm still a deep, sensitive soul, but perhaps my skin is getting tougher in some ways. But I think I want to remind, if there's anybody out there like me that was struggling, hang on. Just hang on, you know, reach out. It was a miracle. It's a miracle that I'm here. It's a miracle that I met Sunova when I did. But even with a year of planning in 2011, you know, it wasn't easy to get out of the rut that I was in. And it was a deep one, you know, really deep one. But thank you. My debt and my repayment that I now see is not to feel obligated to each of you to do something nice, but to just be nice and be, and I've got work to do. I get angry almost every day at something, but my wife has taught me that that's okay, because I used to repress my feelings, and I'm getting better and better and better at harnessing it, and as long as it's driven by honesty and authenticity, I can own it and apologize for the mistakes that I've made. I've still got apologies to make along the road of life, but I've made many, and I continue to try to do it by living my life today. I hurt a lot of people and I've done a lot of things, but I now have a chance to do everything again through my new birth that started before my son was born. You have to, I was told that I could not have children, so Sunov and I desperately tried, and people would be shocked to think that we thought we could have children, because we haven't even had our 2-year anniversary yet, but our souls feel like they've been together for 80, because of how much work we did on each other, and through the mirror that is each other, because of how alike we are and how much we desire to get better. I mean, we're tough on the growth aspect. It doesn't mean we don't laugh and have our YouTube date nights, but we desire and we see this thing we call life as a spiritual evolutionary process, and one that takes work. But we dance in the rain. I don't want you guys to think that we are just boring and too intense, because we get silly and crazy, and we have fun, but we also stumble. And but we're stumbling less, and we're fussing less. But we, you know, I'm really happy about my life today, and I'm really grateful for the friendships that I have, virtual and real. I've changed a lot. I used to be so out of balance. I was gravitated to relationships that were very emotionally dependent and out of balance themselves. You know, we really are what we surround ourselves with. During the time in Europe, I was surrounded by nobody but animals and nature, and that's why part of House Agave was formed. I was one of the first healing projects, if you will, with nature and animals, and balance being achieved through healing. So, yeah, 40. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that posted on my timeline. Thank you to everybody that hung in there, and whether you gave up on me or not, or like me or not, I care a lot less today about that, and care a lot more about doing the next right thing. because I know that's my gift to the world. And now that I have children, I see that they're the greatest gift, because um, my lessons now have a legacy, and hopefully the company we're building is kind of designed the same way. Don't give up. Believe in each other. Remember that we're connected by way more than what separates us. My son is Norwegian American. We speak a lot of Norwegian in the house, and we talk about cultures all over the world, and it's a big planet with a lot of different ideas on how to do things. And turn off the TV. I did December 23rd, 2011. I've not had it on since. I'm not perfect, y'all, but I'm proud of who I am today. I can look you in the eye and tell you that I will speak truth to your face, and you won't be, you can trust me, and I'm loyal, and I won't talk behind your back. I may get a little upset, and I may tell you directly, but it happens less and less. 40. I'm proud to be 40. So that's it. That's 26 minutes of midnight rambling. But that is my thank you to you. You guys, I hear the words inspiration. I don't ever think of myself as even possibly being inspirational, but I get inspired every day by you. And I get inspired, and I remember every person and every leader and every boss I've had. Even if I seemed aloof or was a mess at the time, now in my life with clarity and drive, your lessons are driving me. And some of you know who I'm talking about, so thank you. Thanks for my ramble. Good night. I'm going to go to bed.